Worms are really fascinating. Okay. The worm tier list. Let's get into it. Yo, this looks disgusting. Burger King closes at 1 a.m. Yo, this. Yo, was that a leech?
The
Oh my
humble worm
days.
may be one of the most overlooked characters in
Yo.
the entire game. Though they may seem powerless and pathetic, in reality the Worm faction has
What worm
access
is
to
this?
some of the rarest, most extraordinary special abilities in the game, and can be a nightmare to play against. But which
This is
worm builds are dominating the
disgusting,
meta,
bro.
and which are just bait? Find out
Have a
on Worm
worm
Tier
named
List.
Mr. Williams. Burger King Peter
But
type.
before we dive into the rankings,
Do I like
what
an
even
NFL
is a
team?
worm? Even
You know what?
though they're the most numerous creatures in the game,
Wait, sorry for pausing, but that's a good question. Like, I low key, like, I don't watch football. Like, are you talking about like I don't watch football, like American football, but I've been seeing clips and I low key want to get into it. I don't know what teams to support though.
technically
I guess I'll
there's
just
no
look for
such
my
thing
favorite
as a
player and I'll just
single,
support his team.
all-encompassing
Ribbon
worm
Worm.
faction.
Yo, it's disgusting.
Worm builds are actually part of several
It's
different,
disgusting,
distantly
bro.
related factions.
What
But there
NFL
are
team do
many
you support?
similarities they share. All worms have long, tube-shaped character models with minimal
That's
or
a crazy name.
non-existent
The Jets
appendages,
fan?
enabling them to weave in and
Do
out
they
of
win?
tight spaces easily.
Yo, this is actually
Simple as it
freaky.
may be,
Yo, what worm is this?
enabling them to weave in and out
The
of
bottom
tight
right.
spaces easily. Simple as it may
Looks like
be,
the worms
this
that
has
go
proven
in
to be
your
one of the
butt.
most
Pause.
reliable body plans in the history of the game,
Tapeworm?
as worms have been in the game since pretty much patch 1.0. As far as base stats go,
Jets.
worms are not
I
particularly
don't want to join a
stacked.
losing team.
Now, credit where it's due, because of their excellent
This is
regenerative
the worms I
perks
see the
and
most.
uniquely
The one that
advanced
come out
burrowing
the
abilities,
soil
they
when it's
do score
raining.
pretty high in both vitality and stealth. And there are exceptions that score high in other stats as well. But in general, they have below average base stats in almost every skill. With simple brains, no weapons, no armor, and no legs, the average worm is pretty lacking in their intelligence, power, defense,
gnarly.
and mobility stats. The
Who is
exceptions are where it
wriggling
gets
around?
interesting though. So without further ado,
miss seeing
let's dig into the
earthworms.
tier list.
When's the last time I heard there was people saying like they haven't
First
seen
in F
earthworms
tier,
in a long
the
time.
ice worm.
Ice
This build
worm?
takes the burrowing capabilities of the worm in an unconventional direction and opts to dig through glaciers rather than solid earth. This is a
Oh,
pretty unique
nah,
gimmick
bro.
as it grants them completely
How
uncontested
did they do
access
that?
to glacial algae as a food source. But unfortunately, it seems like unlocking the ability to burrow through ice must have cost all their evolution points, because the ice worm has some pretty glaring flaws in its strategy.
How does
First,
it
the ice
melt the
worm's
ice or
stealth
what?
stat is abysmal. Its jet black appearance offers zero
Why
camouflage
are
against
worms
the
so
icy
cool?
white
Did you know
surroundings,
fireflies might go
making them
extinct soon?
extremely
I
easy
did
for
not know
birds
about
to
that.
spot from above and pick off. A few
Like
extra
when?
points into
What's the
snow
estimation?
camouflage would go a long way.
Worms are cool. I don't know about
And
that.
the second
bro.
flaw. Ice
They're
worms
definitely interesting.
ironically have almost zero freezing resistance or heat
Damn.
resistance. They die
What's going on with
immediately if
fireflies?
temperatures drop below freezing, and melt if temperatures rise to even a few degrees above freezing. Luckily,
Damn.
due to a quirk of the game's physics engine, the temperature of glacial ice is fairly stable at their exact Goldilocks zone. But as we've
How
seen
do they
lately,
burn through the
relying on
ice, though? Like, are they
glaciers as
eating
a
the
stable
ice, melting
habitat
the
is
ice?
quite the gamble. It wouldn't take too much to make this build completely broken, but for now, it's the lowest ranked worm on
I
this
gotta do
list.
research on fireflies now.
Also in F tier, we have the earthworm. Yes, it's true. The archetypal worm
Yeah,
everyone
that's
knows and
the
loves
OG.
is a low tier. Earthworms have terrible stats. It has
Damn.
no offensive moves, no armor,
They low
and
key are
isn't
just for
big enough
like
to rely
the
on speed
soil
to
and
escape
for
attacks.
birds.
What's worse, even the one special ability earthworms are believed to have is a bit overrated. Earthworms, like most worms, can regenerate from damage and potentially even survive grievous wounds.
They could grow
if
their
they
limbs
manage to
back,
get
huh?
away.
Even though they only
But
have
that's a
one limb.
big if. Most builds that spec into high passive health regen
Yo,
also
this is
tend
so
to spec
gnarly,
into
bro.
the autonomy perk as well. This perk allows the user's appendages to break off if grabbed, allowing them to escape a grappling attack. This
Yo,
is a
Spider gave
costly
up his
ability
leg.
and one that I normally don't speak very highly of, but situationally it can be extremely clutch.
Not funny,
Earthworms
Jonathan.
do
Not
not
funny.
have this perk, and so when attacked, they often cannot do anything except tank the damage and try to burrow
I actually
away.
don't know which one is more
If that
gnarly,
doesn't
but
work,
snakes
they're
or worms.
completely out of options.
And why is a snake eating a worm? The
In D
leech is
tier,
a
we have
worm?
the leech.
Oh wow.
As the literal namesake for the term used to describe deliberately being carried by the rest of your team, I actually think leeches are done a bit dirty. Yes, many leech players do fit the description, attacking a player in a higher weight class and just coasting off the free XP.
Holy
but
crap! Are those leeches on its face? Oh. Yo. To be a fish, bro. I would not want to be a fish.
do fit the description, attacking the player
Some
in higher
fish be
weight
tasting
class
good,
and
though.
just coasting off the free XP.
But
But
they
there
be having
are plenty of
parasites and
leech
stuff,
players who
like,
play an
nah.
honest, active hunting strategy and have to fight to survive, same as any other.
This leech is starving, bro. We're just going around looking for what to eat. Starving, trying to grab it, anything.
But there are plenty of leech players
Do
who
they
play
have
an
eyes?
honest, active hunting
I'm gonna
strategy
see.
and have to fight to survive, same as any other predatory build. Like
You
most
latched
other
onto
aquatic
it.
builds, they thrive off
Tadpoles.
of their strong matchup against low tiers like frogs.
Don't forget
and
to upload
spawn
your reaction.
camp
I
them
will,
mercilessly.
don't worry. I'm recording
Leeches
them
share
right now.
the same garbage base stats as most other worms, though, and with lackluster defenses and mobility, they still get one-shot by fish, birds, and snakes.
I think the freakiest type of like animals or anything is animals that have no business being where they are. Like, what business does a snake have like what are you doing in water, bro? You're a freaking snake, bro. What are you doing? Why can snakes swim? Why can some snakes even glide through the air? Like, bro, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? What are you doing in the water? He's just trying to be different. Like that's like if there was a species of human beings that just had the ability to breathe water, bro. Like, or a species of human beings just had the ability to fly. You have no business being in there, bro. You're already scary enough on the ground. You just make yourself scarier being in water.
All the time.
It's crazy.
Frankly, the parasite strategy might actually be the less viable of
Land
the two,
leeches.
as leeches are not well protected at all when
Why would
attached to a
snakes
host,
have the perfect
and
body?
can
That
easily
is
get
true,
picked
bro.
off by perceptive players.
Whoa! That is yo.
In C tier, we have
Oh,
the
that's crazy.
horsehair worm. This
Horsehair
nematode takes the burrowing proficiency of the worm faction
goes to
and
the butt,
uses
right?
it for an unorthodox purpose, burrowing into flesh. Horsehair worm players opt for the parasitoid game plan, infecting their hosts when they drink from contaminated water. It then uses its burrowing ability to pierce the digestive tract
Ooh.
and hide out in the insect's circulatory system,
Yo, I'm
reaching
actually getting
XP from
shivers
it
down
as
my
it continues
spine,
its
bro.
playthrough relatively unimpeded.
I'm
But
getting shivers down
once
my
the
spine.
worm
There are
reaches
snakes
its
there, so I
max
know.
level, it activates its special ability, Mind Control, to change the insect's
Mind
quest
Control.
objective marker to the
This is
nearest
zombie
body
worm?
of water. Once the insect player self-destructs, the worm burrows out of its body
Ah!
and continues with the rest
Yo,
of its
my
playthrough.
butt.
This
Yo,
strategy is
I can
incredibly
actually feel it,
effective
bro.
and
Oh,
requires
nah.
very little
What is this
technical
freaky
skill,
worm?
as once you successfully infect a host, you can farm XP
Brother.
entirely.
Brother. That's how long
Once
they
the
get?
insect player self-destructs, the worm burrows out of its body and continues with the rest of its playthrough. This strategy is incredibly effective and requires very little technical skill, as once you successfully
Stay
infect a
far,
host,
far,
you can
far
farm
away
XP
from me.
entirely AFK.
Far,
Mind Control
far,
is one of
far
the
away
most
from me,
powerful
bro.
abilities in the game, and it's shocking the devs gave it to a
disgusting.
random worm build. Still,
It's
as with any
disgusting, bro.
parasitoid
It's so scary.
playstyle,
It does scare
the
me,
main
man.
downside is that your survival is tied to that of your host. So if you pick a scrub, you might get one shot when they
That
accidentally
grasshopper's
wander too
tweaking.
close
Oh,
to a
damn.
spider's den. And this isn't just a hypothetical. In fact, in some servers, the fish player base is literally reliant on janitoring the self-destructing players.
Oh, wow.
Still, at least by
They
being
just
an
spawn
internal
camping.
parasite, they don't run the risk of being picked off like the leech
Can they live in
does.
fishes, though? Or
In B
a
tier, we
gecko?
have the fireworm.
Yo, where are these found, bro? I need to stay away from
Marine
these,
build
bro.
with excellent defensive
Like,
stats.
imagine this crawling up your
Fireworms
leg.
have
Yo, I
toxic
should just chop
spines,
my whole
which
leg off.
inflict serious damage on
No,
any
I'm not
player
even
dumb
joking.
enough to attack them.
I will chop
This effect is
my whole
powerful
leg
enough
off.
that even
Clean
large tank
off.
builds cannot just eat the damage
Whoa!
and will learn
They can
quickly
slap?
not to mess with them. Unfortunately for fireworm mains, because their spikes are small and fragile, they cannot pierce thick chitin or keratin armor. This means any player with a thick exoskeleton can completely negate the fireworm's defense and crush them like they would any other worm. Some fish mains have also specced into the beak attribute in order to be able to do the
Ugly
same thing.
fish.
Parrotfish and pufferfish are a huge problem for builds that rely on defensive abilities, as their powerful beaks can crush armor and don't take damage from poison spikes. So, fireworms are untouchable to a lot of players, but there's enough counterplay prevalent in the meta right now that I can't give them a high
They
tier
got
rank.
They got enough. They got enough ops. Just not
Also
that
in
many.
B tier, we have the tube worm.
Tube
Of all
worm.
the lazy AFK XP farming builds in the game,
Hey, it's
there isn't
not
a
a-
single one that goes to as extreme
bad,
lengths
bruh.
to do so as the tube worm. The tube worm has crazy high
Yo, this is a
toxic damage
freaky,
resistance,
this is a freaky
not
worm,
because
bro.
it needs to tank venom damage, not because it preys upon builds that use poison for defense. No, the tube worm needs toxic damage resistance because its strategy is to set up shop next to deep sea hydrothermal vents and basically eat the sulfur jetting out from them. It
What?
absorbs hydrogen sulfide using
They
its
eat
plume,
sulfur.
and because of a special team-up ability they have with
I
bacteria,
don't wanna
they're
know if
actually
it
able
farts
to
or
use
anything
that
like
as
that.
an XP source, meaning they don't even need to really eat at
How
all.
do they extract it though?
They don't need to as an
Does the
XP
sulfur
source,
come up as like
meaning they
as
don't
a
even need to really eat at all. They don't need to find food, they just constantly absorb the noxious sulfur spewing out of these vents. Because the sulfide turns water around these vents toxic, the tube worm doesn't have to worry about attacks from predators. They do, however, have to worry about the vents shutting down. Hydrothermal vents do not last forever, and when they go dark,
like they're just drinking toxic water? I just finished eating cereal. Yes, sir. What type of cereal is it? Yo, they just drink toxic water. That's what they say is food.
or
I
erupt
mean,
into
they're not
lava
moving, so
flows,
they don't need that much
it's
energy.
GG for entire
The sulfur,
colonies
though?
of tube worms. An incredibly effective XP farming technique, but like a lot of these types of strats, it works until it doesn't.
Yeah, and then they can't. Oh, this one about to be
In A tier,
ugly.
we have the Velvet Worm.
Yo, this is a
This
freaky
build
worm.
has even worse defensive stats than the other worms, as it doesn't have the same slime
Yo, look at the body.
coating that the others
Oh,
do.
look the, like
However,
it's-
it makes up for it by converting that
It's like a
slime ability
snail
into one of the
worm.
most unique abilities in the game, a projectile attack.
Yo, this just nutted up. The worm just nutted on my. Yo,
The Velvet Worm can fire a glue-like slime from its papillae. This slime attack deals no damage. It's not toxic and doesn't hit with near enough force to be threatening on its own. However, the slime is sticky and hardens quickly, debuffing the target's speed stat and potentially even
yo, this is a
completely
freaky
immobilizing it.
slime, bro. I like
This
this. No, I did
slime
not
is
like it, bro.
extremely strong once
Velvet worm is
hardened,
my favorite.
similar to spider silk in terms of what it's capable of immobilizing. Even builds with vastly higher power stats are not safe from being essentially frozen by the Velvet Worm's attacks. Now, while this is no doubt a powerful ability, it has plenty of limitations. It is woefully inaccurate and will struggle to hit smaller or evasive targets consistently. It is also relatively short-ranged,
worm, bro.
only being able to hit targets a few body lengths away. And because it
I
doesn't
knew
deal
you'd
any
make a
direct
joke.
damage, even if the Velvet Worm manages to
What
pin
joke?
down a build like
You're
the Centipede
predictable.
or Scorpion, it'll
I
still
mean,
be
like,
taking
bro,
on
that's
considerable
exactly what it's doing, bro. Like, it's doing shooting goop all over my screen. Pause, bro, pause.
counterattack risk when it tries to approach.
This is a freaky. Like, it looks like a snail. So that was
And
that was
last
a
in A
velvet
tier,
worm,
we
right?
have the Bobbit Worm. This build is
This
easily
looks
one of
like
the most
those worms from is it Kong Skull Island? The worms that was like coming out the ground and just eating people's legs and arms and stuff.
terrifying things, not just in the worm faction, but in the entire game. The Bobbit Worm is a mid-sized benthic worm build which can burrow up to 10 feet deep into the ocean floor. However, unlike most
Wow,
burrowing
that's
worm
long.
builds, the Bobbit Worm is not a scavenger. It's not burrowing to look for food scraps or to escape predators. No, the Bobbit Worm is an ambush build. It lies in
It
wait,
eats
and as soon as
fishes
another
that
player
big.
wanders close enough to its burrow, it strikes, using what may genuinely be the most wicked pair of mandibles in the entire game. These powerful jaws inflict devastating
That fish
damage,
is quick.
while simultaneously hooking into their target
The
so
Bobbit
that it
worm
can be
has some
dragged
crazy
down
trivia
below the
about it.
ocean floor,
Like
never
what?
to be seen again. Now, despite their ferocity, I don't want to overhype
They're
the Bobbit
strong
worm.
though.
Though they are menacing, skilled players can play around their
Ooh,
threat
it's, like,
range pretty
glistening.
easily. Their low perception stats
Very
make them
distant.
pretty inaccurate when lunging
I think
towards
that's the
their
word.
targets. Their attacks are deceptively slow, and as long as you position yourself even slightly above the seabed, they should be reactable and
Sneaky though.
easily
Yo, that
dodged.
fish is fast.
Skilled fish
as
players
F.
have even been known to drive Bobbit Worm players out of their territory by
How?
teaming up and mobbing their burrows. This requires a successful
Damn.
perception check with a pretty
It's
high
named after a
DC,
woman who cut her
but if your party
husband's-
is competent
What
enough,
the
you really
hell?
shouldn't have to worry about Bobbit Worms that much. Despite being easily
That
the
is
most
kinda crazy.
terrifying
Her
build on
name
this
was
list,
Bobbit?
the Bobbit Worm's poor frame data and predictable game plan keeps it out of the
Some of
higher
these fishes
tiers.
are quick. They have crazy reflexes.
And in S tier, we
Hammerhead flatworm. I swear, I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. Just looking at this, bro, it actually sent shivers from my neck down to my toes. Pause. But, bro, this just looks like
have the Hammerhead Flatworm. Flatworms are the solo hunters of the
Let me guess, bro. They have like a venom or something. Venom or they're poisonous.
worm faction, and the Hammerhead Flatworm is one of the best at it. They're faster than other worms, which isn't saying a lot, but still, it's relevant.
It
They
just looks like
possess
it's
a
venomous.
devastatingly powerful neurotoxic slime.
I knew it.
The
I
same-
knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it had something, bro. It had to have something. It just looks like stay the F away from me type of worm, bro. Stay the F away from me type of worm, or Look how quick it killed that ant.
but still,
That
it's
must be a
relevant.
crazy
They
toxin.
possess a devastatingly powerful neurotoxic
Packed it
slime,
up.
the same toxin found in pufferfish and blue-ringed octopus, which they employ both offensively and defensively. But their
Good
most
prediction. I can just
recognizable
tell, bro. I
feature,
can just
their
tell.
wide, flat head, was a bit of a
Kinda
gamble in
freaky.
terms of how they spent their evolution points. By
Oh.
speccing into the hammerhead
Oh
attribute,
my
these
God.
flatworms sacrificed their ability to
Yo,
dig
this is
efficiently.
gnarly, bro.
But in doing so, they greatly boosted their perception stat. Similar to the hammerhead shark, the flatworm's hammerhead is loaded with chemoreceptors, enabling the worm to track down prey by following its scent. In addition to their toxic defense, flatworms are the best regenerators in the game, able to heal all the way
Oh,
back
they
to
can
full
heal.
health, even when cut into tiny pieces.
Wait, how does that work though? It's because of the bright colors, right? Yeah, I think that was it. And the stripes. The stripes, bro, I feel like stripes just tell me that like you're venomous, stay away from me. Venomous or poisonous. You're growing up. What is that supposed to mean, bro? Wait. How does this work? It got cut, and then it all became different hammerhead flatworm worms, right?
Generators in the game, able to heal all
No, he's
the way
talking
back
about
to
Al,
full
like
health,
Alvin.
even when cut into tiny pieces. They can really only be permanently defeated by non-physical damage, such as
Like what?
dehydration, salt, acid, that sort of thing. Because it's
Wow.
borderline unkillable through conventional combat,
It's
the
nearly
hammerhead
immortal.
flatworm is the only worm build to achieve
So
the
you can't
rank
even
of
crush
S
it.
tier.
Like you can't crush it.
The hammerhead flatworm's excellent tracking abilities ensure that even without eyes, it knows exactly where it's going. And even though
And
I
that
do
ant
have
knows
eyes,
to
to be
stay
totally
the
honest,
F away from the
sometimes
worm.
I still get
Oh, it's
lost while
trapped.
exploring the internet.
It's trapped, yeah.
Or at least I used to, until I started using today's sponsor, Opera.
Ah.
Opera is my new main for the
W sponsor. W sponsor. Is that all? Is that all from you? Opera,
Same thing applies for videos. For example, it's super practical, love it too. Thank you so much.
Yo, that was a W video. Gnarly, but it's because some animals have extra stem cells like starfish. That's how it regenerates completely. Yeah, but so I know I'm talking like, so does that part that got cut off regenerates into a whole different starfish? Like, how does that work? These animals have brains and stuff like that. How does that work? It's a gnarly video, but it's very interesting. Very, very interesting. I don't know, cap. I'm not a cat tea.